Hey everyone, welcome to yoga class. Today's class is called Sanskrit Legends Yoga. And the reason why the class has this title is because we are playing a playlist that has information about these different legends. There are some postures and some movements that are going to go along with the history of some of these stories and who these gods and goddesses are. Because the practice of yoga comes from India, these people, these legends are important to know about, even just a little bit. So we're just going to spend a little bit of time getting to know who these people are, what their stories are, and just how we can have fun with that in our movement. Now I've got the playlist playing in the background softly. I'm also happy to send that to you so that you can have it to turn the volume up and play at your own whenever you want to. So we will go ahead and get started. Just want to add that the name of the playlist is called Dreaming in Sanskrit. And the playlist was developed by a couple called DJ Drez and Marty Nico. And what they've done with this playlist is take these legends, these stories, these people, these gods and goddesses from the Hindu religion and made modern music so that we can help learn about all of that. So starting off, we'll come into a prone position, which means that we're going to be belly down. So come onto your belly however you'd like to get there. Move any props that might be out of the way. And as you come onto your belly, stack one hand on top of the other and then position your forehead onto your hands. Now with your forehead positioned onto the pillow that you've made with your hands, simply notice your breath. As you inhale, feel your belly pressing to the mat. As you exhale, feel the air release. Continue this connection with your breath. And practice lengthening each breath. You might even close your eyes during this time. You might choose an intention for your practice. Inviting in any energy that you may need as we move through this class today. Continue to lengthen the breath. And the song that we're hearing in the background is the Compassion Buddha mantra. Om Mani Padme Hum. And with this energy, with this sound, can transform, inviting purity into our body, mind, and soul. On your next inhale, lift your head. Take your hands under your shoulders. Press your palms to the mat. And then when you're ready, on another inhale breath, peel the chest, gaze forward. Take a little gentle back bend. And then exhale, lower down, connecting your chest back to the mat. Forehead meets the mat. From here, bring the forearms down. Bend the knees, lift the feet up. Rock the feet from side to side. As you rock the feet from side to side, just releasing tension from the hips. We're also letting the spine move around. Notice how this feels on your low back, your mid back, your hips, your legs. Bring the legs to center, lower the feet down. Take the hands back under the shoulders. On your next inhale, peel the chest. And see if you want to rise up a little higher, peeling the belly off the mat. Gaze forward. Exhale, lower down. Take the hands wider so they come off the mat, firmly pressing the palms down, lifting the elbows up. As you inhale, lift your chest. Gaze forward. As you exhale, let the right shoulder dip down to the mat. Inhale, lift back to center. Exhale, left shoulder dips. Inhale, center. With each exhale, opposite shoulder dips. Feel a stretch at the shoulders. Feel a gentle twisting at the spine. Just take one more on each side, evening things out. Inhale, lift the chest, lift the belly, gaze forward. Exhale, bend the elbows, lower down. Take the hands underneath the shoulders. With your energy, lift your hips and at the same time press the mat away, straightening the arms. Take the knees open wide, big toes together, and shift your hips towards your heels. Lower the forehead down to the mat. One full round of breath in child's pose. Inhale, shift forward, tabletop position. Check your alignment. Set the wrist under the shoulders, bring the knees under the hips. Look at the fingers, spread the fingers wide. Moving through extension and flexion of the spine. As you inhale, let your belly lower. And as you exhale, lift your back. So this next song on the playlist is all about the goddess Lakshmi. Lakshmi is the goddess of wealth and prosperity. Continue to move with your breath. Decide if you want to continue to move your up and down. Or maybe you want a little more freedom and you start to circle the hips. Letting the circles be big or small. Whatever feels appropriate in your body today, in this time. You might even pause anywhere that needs a little more attention, a deeper stretch. Lakshmi provides beings with material abundance. She's a protector and a bestower. There was a time where I lived in the forest for about a month. And the little cabin that I had in the forest was called Lakshmi. So I have a particular fondness for this goddess. Lakshmi bestows upon deserving people according to their past karma. She also protects from ill health and adversity. So any time of health issues, Lakshmi is the goddess to call upon. If you've been moving, circling around in one direction, go ahead and switch it up, circle opposite direction. With the kneeling warm-up work, I really like to take the option of bringing the knees together and taking the feet out to one side. Now, whichever direction you took your feet to, walk your hands over to your feet. As your hands come towards your feet, you're able to stretch the side body on the opposite side. If you send the hips back, you can get a deeper stretch. If you feel like that messes up your balance, then you can back out of it. One more round of breath. Walk the hands to center. Take the feet to center. Take a round of breath here. Keep the knees together. And then take the feet over to the other side. Walk the hands closer to the feet. Now open the opposite side body. Remember, you can shift the hips back if you're ready to go deeper. If not, that's all right. And if you don't like any of these kneeling poses, you can always stay for a longer amount of time in your child's pose. Whichever variation you may like. Walk the hands to center. Walk the feet to center. Look at the knees. Open the knees wider. Back to hip distance. Lift off onto the right toes. So the right toes are at the back of the mat. Press the heel back. As you press your right heel back, feel a stretch at the right calf muscle. And then let the right knee come down. Lift off the left knee, come onto the left toes. Press the left heel back, feel a stretch of the left calf muscle. Hold and breathe here. Let the tension release. Transitioning now to our next song, Mahadevi. Devi is the Sanskrit word for goddess. Let the left knee come down. Now we'll transition from kneeling to standing. Curl your toes. Take your time to lift your hips coming into downward facing dog. As you come into down dog, position the ears between the biceps. Take time to walk the dog, bending one knee as the opposite leg straightens. And then switch it up to the other side. Taking time to open up the legs. Remember, in your down dog, to send your chest towards your thighs, sending weight into the low body, taking the pressure out of the shoulders. Now slowly walk your feet towards your hands, taking your time to get to the top of the mat. On your next inhale, bring your palms to your shins. Take a half lift. Reach the crown of your head forward. Reach the tailbone back. Feel the hamstrings start to open up if the legs are straight. And then exhale, bend the knees, let the arms dangle, coming into forward fold. And forward fold is so beneficial for stretching the entire back of the body. We'll come here later, but for now, take a deeper bend in the knees. Slowly start to roll up to a standing position. Let your head come up last. As you land in your standing position, bring your arms by your sides. Inhale, lift the shoulders up to the ears. Exhale, take the shoulders back and down. 2 more shoulder rolls. Inhale, shrug the shoulders up. Exhale, rotate the shoulders back and down. Last one, movement following the breath. Once you set the shoulders down, take your hands to your hips. Using your energy, step 1 foot back and then rotate so that all 10 toes are facing the same direction. Now you can slightly bring the toes in, heels slightly out. As you do this, press to the outsides of the feet. Feel a nice stretch at the ankles. We'll start to draw little circles with the hips, getting some mobility here, and then circle around opposite direction. Find center. Now look at the feet, bring the heels in, toes out. Start to bend the knees. Now lower the hands down to the thighs. You want to position your hands at the middle of the thighs, not on the knees. Start to shift from side to side. This is our goddess squat. So in this way, we're really honoring the goddess Devi. Moving now into our Maha Mantra. The literal meaning of Maha is abundant, strong, great, and light. Finding strength in our standing position. Take the heels of your hands to your hip crease. Sit lower, arms are straight. Now we're getting traction in the spine. If you want to challenge yourself, you can lift your toes off the mat. Keep the rest of your feet down. Now maybe shift from side to side. Maha Mantra. Take the hands back to the center of the thighs. And just like we did on our bellies, we're going to come into spinal twisting. So when the torso is centered, we take an inhale breath. On an exhale, we dip one shoulder to center. Inhale takes us back to center. Exhale, opposite shoulder dips. Continue to move with your breath. Movement always following the breath, not the other way around. Remember that our practice is all about exploring our movement, connecting our movement to our breath, and just engaging in this experience. Now, once you find center, come back to rocking from side to side. Press your feet to the mat, straighten your legs. Inhale, sweep the arms up. Exhale, lower the arms, bend the knees. Bring the wrists in line with the shoulders. Inhale, sweep the arms up, straighten the legs. Exhale, lower the arms, bend the knees. Feel the strength in your legs. Continue to move with your breath. Engaging the muscles of the legs. Building on our strength and stability in our standing position. Just a couple more. Last one. Now take the hands to the hips. Press into the feet, straighten the legs. Heel toe the feet towards each other. Bring the big toes together. Inhale, lift the arms up. And as you exhale, bring the hands down the midline, come into your forward fold. Now this time, as you come into your forward fold, you can separate the feet or you can leave the feet together. Notice if you want to bend the knees or straighten the legs. Just let the arms dangle. You might even bend your knees as you inhale and then straighten your legs as you exhale. Now from our forward fold, we're going to come back down into a kneeling position. So find your way there. The next song is exploring Hanuman, also known as Hanumanji. So Hanuman is known as the monkey god. And there are a couple of different legends about Hanuman. So I'm going to talk to you about them while we come into a knee down lunge. I recommend grabbing onto your blocks, positioning your blocks underneath your hands, giving yourself a little more height, and then bringing one foot forward. Now, as you bring one foot forward, send the hips forward. Position so that your front knee is above your ankle. Now, as you press your hips forward, you're going to feel an opening at the front of the hip of the leg that's behind you. Now, you don't want to dump the weight forward, so really position the blocks under the shoulders So that you've got that straight spine. Think about crown of the head reaching up towards the ceiling. Keep pressing the hips forward. Hanuman, the monkey god, the symbol of strength and energy. He's represented as a monkey because that is symbolism for the always agitated human mind. So you might have heard about monkey mind. This is when we do a lot of looping and our mind wants to create stories. And the problem with those stories is that we end up believing them. So we remember that just because we have a thought doesn't mean that it's real. It's just a thought. Now, from this knee down lunge, send the hips back just enough to get your hip. Straighten the front leg, lift the toes. Take an inhale breath, and as you exhale, fold forward. Now, as you fold forward, feel a deep stretch in the hamstring. Now, some people like to come off the blocks and bring the hands all the way down to the mat. You're welcome to do that if you'd like, if your hands can comfortably come down. Let the hamstring open up. So this is our half split. If your hamstrings are really open, you've got the choice to come into full splits, which is known as Hanumanasana. Asana is posture, Hanuman is the monkey god. So that is why that posture has that name. It's in honor of Hanuman. My hamstrings are a little tight today, so I'm going to stay here in the half splits, but just know at any point, if you want and need to, you can come into full splits. One more full round of breath. Your next inhale, rise up. Bring the blocks back underneath the hands to support you. On an inhale breath, shift forward, back to knee down lunge. From here, slide that front foot back. Bring the knees in line with each other. Take a round of breath. Know that we're going to take those two options on the other side. Now, opposite foot comes forward. Press the hips forward. Remember to position that front knee above the ankle. Take the blocks wherever you need them. Gaze is forward. So one of the legends of Hanuman and why the posture of full splits is named after him is because it's believed that he thought that the sun was a mango. So he leapt and tried to get to the sun to get the mango. And when he leapt to go towards it, his legs went into full splits. Another different legend of Hanuman is that he was trying to unite two lovers, Sita and Ram. And Hanuman was very loyal and devoted to the god Ram. So he took Sita and leapt her across from one mountaintop to the other to reunite with Ram. So in each of those legends, he's represented as moving into full splits. So now we'll move into our half split. Take the hips back. Remember, just enough to bring the hip above that back knee. Now the front leg is straight. Move the blocks to wherever you need to. Lift the toes. As you exhale, fold forward. Remember, here you can stay with the blocks, or you can remove them, bringing your hands or your fingertips down to the mat. Now feeling the stretch of this hamstring. Maybe now closing your eyes, breathing, noticing the sensation that you feel here at this hamstring. Giving time to release the tension, get a deeper opening. Know that after this posture, we're going to transition from kneeling back to standing. Last round of breath. Shift forward back to a knee down lunge. And if you took full splits on the other side, you can take time to come into full splits on this side. Anytime you need to pause the class, you're welcome to do that and come back and join whenever you're ready. Now slide that front foot back if you're ready to move on. Bring the knees in line with each other. If you're working with the blocks, you've already got a lift. From here, you can curl the back toes, lift the hips, walk the feet forward. So we're coming back into our forward fold. We can remove the blocks for now. Now honoring Krishna. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, forward fold. Now this time in your forward fold, bring the feet to hip distance. Arms can dangle or hands can come to opposite elbows, framing the head with the arms. Now practicing straightening the legs. You've always got the option to bend the knees if the hamstrings are really tight. Now if you're taking the option of bringing your hands to your elbows, you're getting more traction for your spine. Take time to let the spine decompress. Now the spine is in flexion. Again, come back to closing your eyes. Reconnect with your breath. Practice lengthening the breath. As you lengthen the breath, connect to the sensations in the body. You might even sway the hips from side to side. If you're holding onto your elbows, release them. Look at your feet. Bring your feet together. Make sure the big toes are touching. Bring the hands in front of your feet. Now walk your hands to the outside of your left foot. Bend your left knee. With your left knee bent, straighten the right leg. Press the right foot into the mat. Feel the stretch going up the right leg into the right hip. Now you can come onto fingertips if your palms don't reach, or you can bring your hands to blocks to get more of a lift. So take whatever you need in this position. Krishna means black or dark in Sanskrit. In some Hindu traditions, Krishna is regarded as the supreme deity. He's usually shown with blue skin, and the legend tells us that Lord Krishna had drunk poisoned milk given by a demon when he was a baby, and that caused the bluish skin. Bend both knees. Take your hands in front of your feet. Keep the knees bent. Walk the hands to the outside of the right foot. Keep the right knee bent. Press the left foot to the mat. Straighten the left leg. Feel the stretch going up the left leg into the left hip. Stay here with your breath. Remember, if your palms don't touch the mat, you can come onto fingertips, or you can position a block or blocks underneath your hands. Lengthen the breath. Exhale, let it go. Feel into the body. Enjoy this time of connection with yourself. Bend both knees. Take the hands in front of the feet. Inhale, come into a half lift. Exhale, forward fold. Now looking at your foot, cross your right ankle behind your left ankle. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, fold. Practice keeping the legs straight. Let the top of your head position down to the mat. Stay here and breathe. Feel into the hips. You might even be feeling this in your calf muscles, your hamstrings, your quads. Inhale, take a half lift. Exhale, take the right foot back over beside the left and fold. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, lift the left foot, cross the left ankle behind the right ankle and fold. Practice keeping the legs as straight as you can. Completely releasing the head and the neck, letting the top of the head point down to the mat. Find your way back to your breath awareness. Inhale is half lift. Exhale, step the left foot back over beside the right and fold. Now from our forward fold, we're going to move back down to the mat, coming into seated poses. Option here, you can bend your knees to connect your hands to the mat. And then you can lift a foot, you can also move into down dog and then come into a kneeling position. Now, however you choose to get there, from your kneeling position, just bring your feet out to one side so that you can come onto your seat. As you come onto your seat, you can bend your knees, you can bring your legs in front of you. Just know that for now, we're going to move through some seated options. So you want to be really comfortable. For those of you that prefer a little more height, remember that you can take a block underneath your seat, lifting you up. So by lifting the hips higher than the knees, that will be a little more comfortable for any of you that have some knee issues. And if you come onto the block and the edges are a little uncomfortable, you can always come onto a blanket instead. So just find what's working for you. Now, in these seated poses, we're now moving into honoring Gayatri. Gaia is the hymn of wisdom, and Tree represents the combined strength of three goddesses. Lakshmi, which we talked about at the beginning, Saraswati, and Kali. The goddesses often sit on a lotus flower. If you don't know what a lotus flower is, it's very symbolic in this practice because the lotus flower needs to move through mud in order to bloom and become beautiful. And that's very reflective of how we move through our life. There's always some mud, some gunk, some stuff that we need to move through in order to fully bloom and show our best self. So we can think about that with the lotus flower. And this goddess of Gayatri that's representing three different goddesses usually appears with 5 heads and 5 pairs of hands. Gayatri. So I'm going to come off my block because it's more comfortable for me and my body to sit directly onto the floor. You stay however is comfortable for you. Starting off in our seated postures, go ahead and take your palms down to your thighs. Bring your ribs over to the same side knee. And as you inhale, take your chest forward. Move over to the opposite side. Exhale, bring your belly button towards your spine. So we're taking circular movements with our torso. As we move our torso in this way, we can start to feel if there's any congestion in the side body. So as you move around, if there's anywhere that you feel that tightness, you can pause there. And as you pause, you're letting that tension go. You're giving yourself time to release. You can decide if you want your circles to be big or small. You'll also notice if you have a tendency to move slower or faster. Let your body move how it wants to. And then when you're ready, switch it up, circle around opposite direction. As you circle around in this direction, give yourself the same permission to pause anywhere you might need to. All you have to do is listen to your body. Body's going to tell you what it needs. Keep the hips grounded as you circle around. Now that the circles become smaller, bring your torso to center. Reach the crown of your head up, root down in your seat. As you inhale, send your chest forward, shoulders back. And as you exhale, bring your chest inward, shoulders forward. Inhale, open the heart, shine it forward. Exhale, round the spine, back to extension and flexion of the spine. Just a couple more before we come back to center. Lots of spinal mobility today. It's important in our practice to move our spine in all directions. Back to center. Inhale, sweep the arms up, fingertips towards the sky. Exhale, bring one hand down and look to make sure that your hand is positioned in line with your hip. Now, if your palm or fingertips don't meet the mat, you can position a block there to close that gap. Inhale, reach the top fingers up. Exhale, lean over to your grounded hand. Let the hand walk further out if that's more comfortable for you. Now, as you reach over, position the bicep above your ear. Make sure the hips, both hips are grounded. Nice stretch for the side body. Now we're getting lateral flexion for the spine. Inhale, fingertips come up. Exhale, opposite direction. Hand grounds down. Inhale, top fingers reach up. Exhale, lean over. This side might feel different. Just continue to reach. Continue to keep those hips grounded. Inhale, arms rise up. Exhale, bring the arms down. So now we're moving into Ganesha, also known as Ganesh or Ganapati. Ganesha is definitely one of my favorites. Ganesha is all about removing obstacles. So for this portion, we're going to work with our wrist and our hands as a significance of removing obstacles. So we'll just take our hands and we'll start to make circles. You can position your hands with fist and just rotate them around, whichever way they want to go. So Ganesha is the elephant Hindu god of beginnings. Ganesha is honored at the start of ceremonies. Ganesha possesses superhuman strength, stamina, endurance, resistance to injury, and longevity. From here, you can bring your palms together, then rotate your fingers in towards you. Rotate the fingers up, and then rotate the fingers out. Notice how this feels as you move through this for your forearms. Next time the fingers are up, open the palms. Gazing at the palms, now take the fingers in towards your chest. Let the fingers rotate down. Now the backs of the hands meet. Practice lowering your elbows to get a nice stretch at the back of the hands and the wrist. When you're ready to move on, you can take the fingers and palms away from you. Now the thumbs are connected. Heels of the hands connect. Pinky edges come together. Fingers come in towards you. So you're moving your hands in a circular direction and you're keeping a connection at one point or another. The connection changes with the movement. Now practice moving in the opposite direction. Our wrists are like our ankles. They do so much for us and we forget to do enough for them. So just taking time to honor this part of our body. You can let the movement become bigger. You can separate the hands and start to make circles with the shoulders. You decide how big you want the circles to be. If you want to move both arms at the same time, or if you want to move one arm at a time. As you move the arm around in circles, you really feel the work of the shoulder. Maybe you're taking circles or a figure eight, or maybe there's no pattern at all. Just finding freedom in your movement, switching it up if you've been moving just one arm at a time. Maybe imagining that you're holding a tray and moving the tray around. Or maybe imagining that you're holding a paintbrush and you're drawing a beautiful portrait. Using our arms and our wrists, symbolically removing any obstacles we feel we might have come across. Just moving it away, clearing the path, creating space. feeling the space around you as you move your arms and finding freedom in your movement, allowing yourself to move in a way that you might not in your regular day. Wherever your arms may be, gently let them float down like feathers floating all the way down to the thighs. Let the palms just ground down. Tuck your chin towards your chest. Feel the stretch at the back of the neck. Pause here. Notice if you feel the stretch going across the shoulder blades into the upper back. The song is called It's Peaceful. Allow yourself to move slow, be peaceful in your body, in your practice. Decide if you want to stay in stillness with the chin tucked down. Or maybe if you're wanting movement, you take one ear above the same side shoulder. Now feeling a nice stretch on the opposite side of the neck. When you're ready, take the chin back down and then rotate to the other side. Notice how this side feels as you stretch and open up. Decide now if you want to rotate from side to side. Inhaling to one direction, exhaling to opposite direction. Maybe you decide to stay for a longer amount of time at one side if it's really tight, or maybe both sides if both sides need attention. Neck is a very common area for people to hold stress and tension. Just give time to let that release out. If you want to go even deeper, you can take one arm behind your back. So you would take the arm behind your back of the side of the neck that you're stretching. And the arm that's behind your back, you can see if you can connect that hand to the upper arm of your other hand. Now that's going to provide a much deeper stretch for the neck. So if you're trying that option, coming into the other side, release the arm that's behind you. Chin to chest. Now, the side of your neck that's open and being stretched, that side arm comes behind the back, and that hand looks for the upper arm of the opposite arm. Now with that hook, you're getting deeper into the neck space. If that's not available for you, you don't have to make the hand to arm hook. It's just an option for those of you that are ready for it. Wherever you are, even out the sides. Got just a few more rounds of breath. Slowly finding your way to center, chin to chest. And then lifting your chin, gazing forward. Relaxing the shoulders away from the ears. We have a tendency to hold the shoulders up higher. Imagine that there's a weighted blanket on your shoulders, just letting the shoulders melt down away from the ears. So we're coming into our last song, and this song is all about Shiva. Shiva is a very famous god in Sanskrit legends. Shiva is known to be the destroyer. So Shiva's role is to destroy the universe in order to recreate it. He destroys arrogance, desires, lust, and evil. Shiva destroys the bad and paves the way to a new beginning. Shiva and Shakti go hand in hand. So Shiva is the masculine energy and Shakti is the feminine energy. And when these two are together, Shiva has a tendency to sit back and watch Shakti move through energetically and kind of do her thing. But in this time of honoring Shiva and destroying the bad and paving a way to a new beginning, we're now going to come into some reclined positions. So that means that we're going to come on to our backs for the next several minutes. So taking your time to connect your entire back, your spine, your shoulders, your head onto the mat. Keep the knees bent. Feel the soles of the feet to the mat. Bring the arms by your sides. And just kind of let the spine neutralize here. Inhale deeply through the nostrils. Exhale, open your mouth, let it go. Take a couple more rounds of breath in this way. You can even take your hands to your belly, feeling your belly rise on an inhale breath, and feeling the belly soften on an exhale. And again. And tuck the chin towards the chest to lengthen the back of the neck. Now open the arms out to the sides, positioning the wrists in line with the shoulders. Lift the feet off the mat. So you want to position the knees above the hips and the ankles in line with the knees. Take an inhale breath. As you exhale, bring both knees over to the left. Keep the right shoulder down. Inhale, lift the knees back up to center where we started. Now exhale, take the knees over to the right. Keep the left shoulder down. So we're spinal twisting. Inhale, center. Exhale, take the knees opposite direction. Well, spinal twisting is really important when we're wanting a new beginning, when we're wanting to destroy bad and pave the way for good, because spinal twisting helps us to detoxify. So remember, twists anytime you need to detoxify. Just be careful if you're pregnant. Twists are not recommended during pregnancy. So just know your body. Let's take one more on each side. Now bring the knees to center. Bring the knees in towards you as much as you can, and then open the knees wide. Reach your hands towards your feet. Lift the soles of your feet to face the ceiling. See if you can take your hands to the outsides of your feet. Now, if you can't grab onto the outsides of your feet, that's okay. It's no problem. You can take your hands to your ankles instead. Now, if you still can't reach your ankles or your tailbone is lifted, bring your hands behind your knees. Press the tailbone down. Now, wherever your hands are connected, just focus on the knees coming in towards the mat and the soles of the feet pressing up. So you're causing resistance. So this is happy baby, Ananda Balasana. In your happy baby, you can rock from side to side, feeling a massage in the back. Some of you might like to extend and straighten one leg at a time, getting a deeper stretch, and then trying that on the other side. Some people like to straighten both legs at the same time. A nice variation for this is to take the peace fingers, your index fingers and middle fingers, to hook onto your big toes, and then straighten the legs. So if both legs are straight, you'll feel a nice stretch at the inner thighs. Gently bend the knees, bring them back in. Release the hands. Bring the arms down, bring the feet down. Take a full round of breath. Exhale, open your mouth, let it go. Now moving into Shavasana, our final relaxation pose. Straighten the legs, bringing the heels down to the mat. Create space between the feet, between the legs. Let the arms be out to the sides, so there's space at the armpits. Tuck your chin towards your chest to lengthen the cervical spine. Let your eyes close. If this option feels good in your body, stay here and relax. If you feel pinching or discomfort at your low back, then I recommend positioning a bolster or blocks underneath your knees, or even more supportive, taking a chair underneath your low legs. If there's another shape that works for you during this relaxation time, please feel free to take whatever it is that your body is calling for. In this time of Shavasana, our intention is to let our body fully relax, to become present with ourselves, and to give time for integration of the work that we've done in our practice. At this point of our practice, my voice will exit. The video will stop. Please feel free to stay in this relaxation pose for as long as you'd like, as long as you need. See if you can give yourself permission to stay here without worry, without timing, without question. Just exploring the peaceful benefit of this pose, this time with yourself, this connection with your breath and your body. It is my honor to serve you through guiding you through this beautiful practice. Thank you for practicing with me today. Namaste.